big story of the hour. The U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick has confirmed that President Trump's trade deals will remain in place despite the ongoing legal challenges to his tariffs. In an interview, Lutnick emphasized that key agreements, including those with Japan and Europe, will hold firm. He added that the tariffs related to autos, pharmaceuticals and semiconductors are here to stay. White House economic advisor Kevin Hassett also assured that the U.S. economy is well prepared to handle these trade measures. Meanwhile, the U.S. Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer announced that Democrats will force votes in the coming weeks to reverse import tariffs imposed under President Trump's administration. Schumer cited jobs report which showed slow job growth and a rise in unemployment as a key reason for the push. I have with me Peter Cardillo. He's the chief market economist at Spartan Capital Securities. He's joining me from New York. Thank you very much, Peter. And what's your assessment of how things are going to pan out domestically for the American economy? There have been reduction in tariffs for the auto imports from Japan from 27.5% to 15%. The executive order was signed yesterday. South Korea continues to hope that the auto tariffs on its auto manufacturing companies are going to reduce to 15%. But how resilient is the American market if the supply for the auto parts from South Korea and Japan and other countries is going to be restricted?
Well, I think, if you look at some of the latest macro indicators, especially the one we got this morning, the labor market, obviously they were soft, and some of the other macro indicators have been indicating a softer economy, an economy that's losing terrain at this time. And that's, due to the uncertainties over tariffs. Now, of course, if these restrictions last, everyone is going to suffer from it. Not only the United States, but our trading partners as well, at least those who have yet to make a deal with the White House. So, right now, I think this rift that we've seen between Russia, India, and China, I think eventually there will be some dialogue, and I think eventually trade deals will be worked out. That doesn't mean that the harsh words and harsh stand that the White House has taken, and vice versa, by the way, that will not continue in the intermediate future. I think that will, but eventually it will lead to some sort of an agreement.
Right. What do you make of U.S. President Donald Trump's very recent comment? It is interesting in the way he has projected America's relations with Russia, China, and India. He's gone on and said that it's unfortunate that America has lost Russia and India to the darkest China. How do you view this comment, and what is the sentiment behind making such a strong remark?
I think it's a wake-up call for India, Russia, and possibly China as well, in the sense that the president seems to want to be unfazed of what happened, but yet talks about it and hints towards economic decay for our trading partners and as well as ours. And so I think it's another method, another way of getting that message across that eventually a deal will be reached.
Right. Peter, stay on with me. There's more information with regards to India-US trade relationship. The White House economic advisor Hassett has also commented on trade with India. Hassett stated that he is disappointed that India continues to help fund Russia's war in Ukraine. This comes as U.S. President Donald Trump's additional 25% tariffs on India came into effect last week. Peter, I would like to understand from you, do you think this is a pretext by the American administration to impose 25% additional tariffs? The fact that it accuses India of fueling the war in Ukraine, and quite the caustic commentary coming in from Trump's aides in the past few days and weeks. And also, up until now, there was an additional 90-day reprieve that had been provided to China over the tariff war that was being played out between China and United States of America. But here on, do you think the Trump administration can sustain a tariff war against China?
Well, I think if you look at it from this perspective, these harsh statements and words that are coming out of the White House and many of the White House aides, I think is indicative to the fact that it shows a unity between the White House aides and the president. And so they're getting the message across to our trading partners. And again, it goes back to what I said a few moments ago, tactics or threats that tariffs could rise substantially above 50, 75%. It could happen, but it won't last for long. I think it would be an incentive for our trading partners who's ever imposed with those types of tariffs to begin to talk and have dialogue that eventually will reach to levels that perhaps the trading partners and we can live with. So I think it's again, it revolves around a tactic that's being used, and it may not immediately work, but eventually I think it will, because no one wants to see their economies being wrecked. And if these tariffs stay the way they are, you can rest assured that the Indian economy and the Russian economy will suffer.
Right. It's also interesting to note because, in the last 24 hours, the US president has also appealed to European countries to put economic pressures on China for China's support to Russia in the Ukraine war. But notwithstanding that, Europe continues to have trade deals with India, with China. And it doesn't seem like Europe is in the mood to put sanctions or impose punitive tariffs on either of the countries. So how do you think Europe and United States can be in sync when it comes to putting economic pressures or using economics as a tool to the means to an end, to end the war and reduce the financial capabilities that Russia has at this point of time, so as to force it to end the war?
Yeah, of course. In fact, White House has said that India is helping to support the war by doing business with the Russians. To a certain degree, that's a true statement. But sanctions work and they don't work. When you have a lot of sanctions imposed, and we've seen this with Russia, somehow or another, they manage to bypass these sanctions. But tariffs is a different story. Tariffs you can't bypass if you want to do trade with a particular company, with a particular country. And so, again, it's a question of bringing everyone to the table. Will Trump succeed? Possibly. He may not succeed. But again,